Good morning, children. From today onwards, we are actually starting with our syllabus. We are going to start with our Science 2 syllabus. Now, what exactly does Science 2 has? Science 2 includes, for you, Science 2 includes all biological terms. Biological terms in the sense related to animals and plants. Also, it has little bits of advanced technologies that we study. So, this all things are included in Science 2. And today we are starting with the first topic from your Science 2, and that is classification of plants. In this lesson we are going to study different plants, how the plants are classified, on what basis they are classified, then as per the classification what are their properties, okay, and what are the examples, which plants do we see around us which possess those properties, which have those properties. All those things we are going to see in today's lesson. Let us see first what are the basis of classification, that means on what basis the classification is done. First is presence or absence of organs. Presence or absence of organs, in the sense there are some of the organs which are not present in all the plants, or which are present in few plants and they have those functions, they perform those particular functions, while in some of the plants those organs are not present but other organs perform those functions depending on that. First, in the case of organs, presence or absence of separate conducting tissues. Conducting tissues, now what are these conducting tissues? Plants have mainly two types of tissues. One is called as a xylem and the other one is called as phloem. One is responsible for carrying water and nutrients from the soil to all the parts of the plant, and the other one is responsible for carrying the food which is prepared by the leaves to all the parts of the plants. So, in some plants, these different tissues are not present. There is only one pipe or there is only one tissue which performs both the functions. So, depending on if these two conducting tissues are present or absent, the classification is done. Then presence or absence of seeds, fruits or flowers. Now, we all know that not all the plants bear fruits, means all the plants don't give us fruits. Similarly, all the fruits that are there don't have seeds. Some have seeds, some don't have seeds. Even in the plants, some have plants. Some of the plants have seeds, the others don't have seeds. And flowers, not all the plants bear flowers or they have flowers. So, depending on that also the plants are classified. The next is if the seeds are enclosed in fruits or not. Now, in any case, if a plant has the seeds or they bear the seeds, if those seeds are present or they are enclosed in fruits or not enclosed in fruits, that is one property. If they are enclosed in fruits, they are classified separately, and if they are not enclosed in fruits, they are classified separately. Then, if the seeds are monocots and dicots. Now, monocots means monocotyledonous and dicot means dicotyledonous. So, if the plants have the seeds, then if the seeds are monocotyledonous means they cannot be divided into halves, or they cannot be separated into halves. So, those are called as monocot, and dicot are the ones which can be separated into halves. So, if these seeds can be separated or not separated into halves, depending on that is the monocot or dicot, the plants are classified. So, first we are going to see the cryptogams. What are the cryptogams that we are going to see first? Cryptogams are divided into three divisions. That means cryptogams are we can say to be classified into further three divisions. One is Thallophyta, next is Bryophyta, and third is Pteridophyta. Just listen to the names how I am pronouncing them. One is Thallophyta, Phyta is pronounced as phyta, thallophyta, bryophyta and pteridophyta. In the third, P is silent, so it is called as pteridophyta. So let us see first division 1, which is thallophyta. What are thallophyta and what are the properties of the thallophyta? First, these plants grow mainly in water. The thallophyta, the plants which belong to thallophyta division, grow mainly in water. That means they are aquatic plants. They do not have specific parts like root, stem, leaves and flowers. So if you look at the plant, you won't be able to divide that plant into these 4 sections. You cannot differentiate root, you cannot differentiate stem, you cannot differentiate leaves and you cannot differentiate flowers. It's just a same section. You cannot, they don't have all these parts. They are autotrophic due to presence of chlorophyll. Now even if these plants are present in water, they are autotrophic. Autotrophic in the sense they prepare their own food with the help of sunlight and chlorophyll. So they prepare their own food as they are having chlorophyll in them. They may be unicellular or multicellular. That means, I hope everybody knows what is unicellular. Unicellular means only one cell is present and multicellular means many cells are present. So thallophyta can be made up of one cell or it can be made up of multiple cells. That means it may be unicellular or it may be multicellular. They are basically algae. Some fungi are also included in the group. They means in the thallophyta, most of the plants which are present are algae. If I happen to give you the example of algae, shewar, which in the rainy season it grows very fast. So shewar would be the best example of algae. So these thallophytas are basically algae. Also some of the fungi means burshi, some of the types of bushes are also included in the thallophyta group. They have usually fiber like body. Fiber means a thread like body. Their body looks like a thread. They are found in saline as well as fresh water. Saline water means salt water, that means sea water. So thallophyta plants can grow in sea water as well as in the fresh water like pond or river. Examples of thallophyta are Spirogyra, ulva, yeasts and molds. Yeast, everybody knows, yeast is normally used in making of bread. This is how Spirogyra looks like. This is Spirogyra, you can see over here, it's only a fiber like structure, okay, and this inside, these are all cellular structures. Next is Bryophyta. The second division is Bryophyta. Bryophyta are known as amphibians of plant kingdom. That means they are the plants. Now what, I hope everybody remembers what are amphibians. Amphibians are something which can survive in water as well as on the land. So we can say to be combination of terrestrial as well as aquatic and aquatic plants. So Bryophyta are the ones called as amphibians of plant kingdoms. That means they are capable of surviving in the water as well as on the land. They grow in moist soil but need water for reproduction. They normally tend to grow in moist soil. Moist means little wet soil, but they need water for reproduction. Reproduction means if they want to increase their number, if they want to reproduce, they need water for that. These plants are thalloid. Thalloid means again the same thing. They have a fiber like body. Then they are multicellular. They are made up of many cells, multiple cells, and they are autotrophic. That means they are capable of producing their own food. They reproduce by spore formation. Now what is a spore formation? In spore formation, what happens? The plant produces small spores. These spores afterwards get erupted and get scattered everywhere. So wherever the spores fall or get scattered, there the new plant starts growing. So this is how their reproduction is started, or this is how their reproduction is done or carried out. The basic structure is flat ribbon like body without true roots, stem and leaves. So if I happen to describe its structure, they have a ribbon like structure, and they don't have roots, they don't have a proper roots like, they don't have stems and they don't have leaves, they only have a ribbon like structure. They have roots which are called as rhizoids. Rhizoids are little hair like structure. So their roots actually, that's why it is said they don't have the proper roots, true roots they don't have, they have only rhizoids, little hair like structure as the roots. They do not have specific conducting tissues for food and water. That means they don't have any other special organ through which the water and food is transported to the every part of the plant. Examples for the Bryophyta are moss, Mertensia, Riccia, Funaria. I am repeating the names again because they are little difficult for you since you are listening them again, and you can repeat them after me. Moss, very easy. Mertensia, Riccia, Funaria. This is how Funaria looks like. You can see over here, it's just a fiber like structure, and they don't have anything, they don't have leaves, they don't have roots, they don't have stem, they just have a bulb over here. You can see they just have a bulb. Okay, so this is how a Funaria looks like. The third example is Pteridophyta. These plants have well developed roots, stem and leaves. That means they have a proper structure. The roots are very well developed. Then they have the proper stem like structure, and they have the proper leaves in their body. They have separate tissues for conduction of food and water. That means there is one tissue which will carry food to all the parts of the plant, and then they have one more tissue which can carry water to all the parts of the plants. They do not bear fruits and flowers. That means they do not have fruits or they do not have flowers. They reproduce asexually through spore formation. Asexually means asexually and sexual. These are two forms of reproduction. Asexually in the sense there is no mother father, separate mother fathers are present, and sexually means there is a different organ, male organ and female organ. So like this there are two types of reproduction. So Pteridophytas are capable of producing it asexually through spore formation, that we have discussed already in the case of Bryophyta. Small spores are formed and those spores are then scattered everywhere, and wherever they are scattered, from there a new plant starts. So that is spore formation. Again I am repeating for you. And sexually through zygote formation means male organ and female organ combine together to form a zygote, and that leads to the formation of zygote. For examples of Pteridophyta, I can name Nephrolepis and Pteris. Nephrolepis is a very common plant and it normally grows in your wells. It looks something like this. You can see these brown spots. These brown spots are the characteristic of Nephrolepis or fern. Next is Phanerogams. These have special organs for reproduction. Phanerogams is the next division. First was Cryptogams. Second is Phanerogams. These Phanerogams, they have a special organs for reproduction. They are capable of reproducing by using those special organs. Depending upon if the seeds are enclosed or not, they are further divided into two divisions. Basically they have the proper well developed plant. Phanerogams are proper well developed plants, so their classification is mainly based on if the seeds are enclosed or the seeds are not enclosed. So depending on that, they are further divided into gymnosperms and angiosperms. The first is gymnosperms. Gymnos means naked, naked in the sense sperms means seeds, that means the seeds are open, they are not enclosed. They are generally woody. These gymnosperms, these plants which belong to phanerogams are generally woody, that means they have woods, they have wood in them, there is no fiber like structure, they have wood in them. Then perennial. Perennial means they grow throughout the year or for many years, so that is perennial. And evergreen, that means they are always greening. Then their stems are without branches. Even if they have stems, they don't have branches. The leaves form crown like structure. The leaves at the top will form a crown like structure. You know what is crown? So they look like a crown at the top. These plants bear male and female flowers on different sporophylls of the same plant. That means on the same plant there will be two type of sporophylls. One is called as a male sporophyll and the other one is called as a female sporophyll. The seeds do not have natural covering, these do not have form fruits. These seeds, they don't have natural covering, that means they are not covered, and since they are not covered, they are not capable of forming fruits. Examples are cycas and piscia. This is the example of cycas. You can see this is a cycas plant, and you can see over here a crown like structure is formed by the leaves, okay, and this is a piscia, fine. If you want to see cycas, I would suggest, if anyone of you have visited Kala Kendra in Goa, right at the front door there is a huge plant of cycas, huge tree of cycas. There is the second division is angiosperms. Angios means covered and sperms means seeds. That means in this category the seeds are covered. Flowers bear reproductive organs. That means flowers are responsible for reproduction, or flowers are responsible for reproducing or producing a new plant. Flowers develop fruits and seeds are enclosed into fruits. First flowers grow and then those flowers are converted or they are transformed into fruits, and when those fruits are formed, the seeds are present in those fruits. These plants are further classified into monocotyledonous and dicotyledonous depending on if the seeds can be divided into two equal parts or not. These plants are further differentiated into monocotyledonous if their seeds are monocotyledonous, or dicotyledonous if their seeds are dicotyledonous, depending upon if the seeds can be divided into two parts or not. The examples are mustard, maize, groundnut and cashew nut. This is the example. This is a maize plant, okay, and this is groundnut. Everybody knows groundnut, so this is the groundnut. Now differentiations. What is the difference between a dicot and monocot? In case of dicot, seeds have two cotyledons, that means they can be divided into two halves. In case of monocot, seeds have single cotyledons, they cannot be divided into two halves. Then dicot, they have well developed root system, their roots are well developed. In case of monocot, the roots are fibrous, like fibers. Then dicot, they have strong and hard stems, the stems are strong and hard. In monocot, the stem is hollow or false or disc like. So, maize we can say to be a monocot, and groundnut we can say to be a dicot. Leaves show reticulate venation. Reticulate venation, the best example for reticulate venation can be a cashew nut leaf, or people leaf, or mango leaf. And in case of monocot, leaves show parallel venation. So, your banana leaf shows parallel venation. Dicot flowers are with 4 to 5 parts. The flower can be differentiated into 4 to 5 parts. In monocot, flowers is differentiated with or into 3 parts only. That's all for today's session. Those who have the textbook, please go through the textbook. Those who don't have textbook, I will be posting the PDF of the textbook, but see if you can get the textbooks as soon as possible. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe.